All right, yo, check it. You already know what time it is, man. Live and direct on a Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? Big round of applause for your boy Swift Dollars in the building. But we're going to get to it, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and chop it up tonight real quick. Right now, like I said, Diddy's fate now in the hands of the jury. Deliberations and all that good stuff will start tomorrow. The judge going to break it down what the jury got to go by based off of the charge and indictment, and we're going to see what's up, all right? Keep it locked. Straight Shoota Podcast, baby. Let's go. Baby, y'all know what time it is, live and direct. Like I said, man, here to give y'all the news. Y'all know what time it is, man. Of course, like I said, thanks for tapping in. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's your boy Swift Dollars, a.k.a. 16 Pad Killer. And of course, you tuned in to Straight Shoota Podcast on Maschine Mafia TV. And this is a safe place for unbiased opinions based on facts, where we give it to you straight with no chaser, all right? Hit that subscribe button, smash up the likes, click that notification bell. That way you stay in the loop each and every time we drop these videos, fam. All right, so here we go, man. The diddler, his last days is upon him. So this week we gonna really find out what's going on, because I don't think it's gonna take long. I think it's gonna be quick and easy. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna get down to the bottom of this real quick. And I mean, like I said, it's a toss-up right now. Y'all put it in the comments. What y'all think, man? Y'all think Diddy cooked? Y'all think he dead duck? Or do y'all think he got a shot? So like I said, tomorrow, a jury will begin deliberating the fate of my boy Diddy, y'all. You know what I'm saying? P. Diddy. Look at him and his lawyer crew, they huddled up. So yeah, a jury will begin deliberations on Monday over the fate of Sean Diddy Combs after hearing all this crazy stuff that's been going on, all right? So we got two prosecutors insisted that he had coerced, threatened, and sometimes viciously forced two ex-girlfriends to have sex with male sex workers to satisfy his sexual urges. That's just crazy now. You know what I'm saying? A defense lawyer then mocked the government's closing argument and warned that prosecutors were employing a novel approach to sex crimes that risked turning the swinger lifestyle that Combs and his girlfriends enjoyed into potential crimes for all Americans. Now, we all know Sean Diddy Combs is 55, the founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. He's pled not guilty to everything: sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy charges in the trial, which continues Monday when the judge will read instructions on the law to jurors before they begin deliberations. That's just a little brief wrap up of what's going on. Like I said, the diddler out here, he was riding high and riding wild for a long time. But right now, like I said, y'all, his fate is in the hands of the jury. Now, you know, I really don't agree with none of the stuff that they got going on with Diddy. Well, that Diddy got going on, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? These allegations, a lot of this stuff is disgusting. It's sick. And like I said, he been getting away with this for too long.
Stop it.
And y'all should have stopped it.
Quit playing.
Shut it down a long time ago. Y'all, a lot of y'all peers, when somebody got money, people are just let dude with money do anything. Treat people any kind of way, talk to people any kind of way. I don't care if you're rich or you're broke. You're going to talk to me like you got some sense, or I'm going to slap something in you. That's just the way it goes. Like, every man deserves some respect, so you got to give some. So right now, he's fighting for his life. Whether we respect him or not, that's your own personal opinion. You can put that in the comments too, because as a man, I don't respect him no more based off of a lot of this stuff I've seen and heard. Like, I respect what he's done, but whether the sword fall one way for another, I really don't give a crap what happens to Diddy. But, you know, who am I to decide? Based off of the evidence, you know what I'm saying? It's looking like a boxing match, looking more like he gonna get a split decision some kind of way. I don't think he gonna catch that Rico. You know what I'm saying? I think he gonna skedaddle on that one. I think he gonna luck up. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get away. I don't think he gonna get that. But I think he gonna eat that prostitution. he gonna eat that. I don't think he gonna get trafficking because he ain't pimping, you know what I'm saying? But that prostitution, he gonna get that because he's flying in the Punisher and the guy down in Miami that was shooting on South Beach. That's been one of the first whistleblowers, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, he got a rough uphill battle. I'm gonna tell y'all that. But hey, I mean, at this point in time now, you know what I'm saying? What did he got to lose? Roll the dice, put it all on the table, man. Go hard or go home, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get to this news break real quick to get y'all up to speed real fast. And then I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, give y'all my final take on the way this whole thing is going down. You dig?
Getting ready to decide the fate of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Deliberations are expected to get underway Monday in a sex trafficking and racketeering trial. Joining us now with some insight is ABC legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Brian has been there in the courtroom. Thank you for being here this morning, Brian. Yes. So we heard closing arguments last week. What were the main points that each side made?
So for the government, they're leaning heavily on Cassie Ventura's testimony, that powerful testimony about her being sex trafficked and also transported for the purpose of prostitution. And they have a very formulaic system of walking through the elements of the charges and also how the facts fit in. But for the defense, a big point of their argument is credibility. They're saying that this is a tale of two stories, the government's rendition of what happened and the actual facts. And they're trying to poke holes in the credibility of the witnesses and some of the statements to show that Sean Combs is not guilty of the charges he's accused of.
And you've been in court through all of these closing arguments here. What's Diddy's demeanor been like?
So it's interesting because I get to sit in the actual courtroom. I'm not just in the building itself, but when I step out to do a hit, for example, for ABC News Live, I come back into the overflow where there's an actual camera on him. So from one view, I'm seeing the back of his head, kind of like the side angle. He's leaned back, really attentive. He is scanning the jury, seeing different people's facial reaction. And you would think that he's confident. But when you go to the overflow room and you have a camera in front of him, you can see his legs shaking. You can see his hand going back and forth. Wow. And I would say this, it's probably not indicative of one thing or the other. I've sat in court holding the hand of my client as we wait for a verdict. It's very, very jarring to see 12 people decide your fate as you have another person trying to make the argument that you're innocent.
Absolutely. If your life on the line, you think you're going to be able to sit in there up straight? I don't care if you a billionaire, you broke. Hey, this is it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no coming back from this. This is it. That man 55 years old. 15 years, that's it. Colon cancer, anything, ain't no guarantee. And ain't no more Grey Poupon and all these top chef or top-notch doctors and all these other, no, you man, put you to sleep. Nah, they gonna go right in your mouth and pull that tooth out. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some anesthesia, man, shut up.
And the jury is expected to get this tomorrow. What is this process going to look like? How is this week going to go?
So you're probably going to hear something like the jury is going to get charged. And that's basically just the judge giving the instructions of explaining how the elements fit into this case, how you can adjust for the credibility or assess the credibility of a witness, and how they're supposed to deliberate, what they're supposed to consider and not consider. That will probably take about an hour or two on Monday morning, and then they'll go into the deliberation room. That's when you may or may not get some notes about what they want to hear, what they want to see. But until then, they're just going to sit and wait. We know Friday is July 4th. There's a day off, potentially Thursday as well. So Wednesday is the new Friday for next week. And, you know, Friday is typically indicative of a verdict.
All right. So, Brian, it was really interesting you describing how Diddy is in the courtroom. And I know that there was some reporting last week that he said to the judge, you know, I wanted to tell you you're doing a good job. What's at stake here when the jury returns a verdict?
So I think there are two big things here. Of course, we're talking about his liberty, incarceration, right? If he's found guilty of that RICO conspiracy, that's up to 15 years up to life in prison. For the sex trafficking, each one of those 20 years, and the transportation to engage in prostitution, 10 years each. Now, because of the nature of these charges, we're talking about consecutive charges, not necessarily concurrent. So think like 20 and 10. Life and 20 could be a lot. But a big part of this, if someone's found guilty of a RICO conspiracy, they don't just try to incarcerate the person. They try to dismantle that RICO financially. So every one of his businesses, all the homes, everything financially that we heard about through the trial, the government could take that if found guilty of RICO.
What do you think? Do you think a split verdict here? A lot of people have been talking about this.
I know every time you get a contributor on who's legal, you're like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be?
Take that crystal ball out.
If I had the crystal ball and I knew what jurors think, trust me, I'd be a much more successful defense attorney. But in my opinion, I think there could be a bit of a split on that RICO, that criminal enterprise. I think Mark Agnifilo did a pretty good job of saying the predicate acts, the arson, the kidnapping, yeah, they could be there, but is this actually a criminal enterprise? I think it could be split there. Cassie, very powerful witness. I think he could be found guilty of that. Jane, some issues there. And I think the transportation to gauge of prostitution, absolutely. If you do all the math, you put that together, I think he's looking at 15, 20, 25 years, depending on how that all falls out and how the mitigation and aggravating factors apply to his sentencing.
We know.
All right, so you see the black brother, Brian Buckmeyer, he done counted Diddy out. He said it's a wrap. He looking at Diddy about to get about 10 to 15. The community has spoken on his behalf, I guess. Not, he doesn't speak for me, but he's speaking for them. I still think Diddy's got a puncher's chance. Who knows what's going to happen in between now and in the morning, but I ain't going to never count a brother out. You know what I'm saying?
See where I'm from, you don't do that.
You got to always have a puncher's chance. Like I said, right now he got his back against the ropes, but I'm telling y'all right now, what's that old movie? A Hell Up in Harlem. If that man walk, that's what it's going to be, because he is going to go scorched earth on everybody that stabbed him in the back. Y'all better believe that. But y'all know I'm just up here rambling. I just do what I do. But what say you? Put it in the comments, man. It's all about to get, the day of reckoning begins tomorrow. The P. Diddy jury deliberations begin. Y'all put it in the comments so that way you can say you said it here first. How y'all think this thing gonna go, all right? It's Swift Dollars, man. Straight Shoota podcast, baby. Gone.